Okay, so next up in the specialization review, we'll look at a cargo transport light mission. So for this, the prerequisites are level 10, commercial pilot licensed airplane, perform airplane missions with landing smoothness above 50%, and score airplane missions with C or above. We have a few aircraft that are available for this, but typically it's going to be in the 172. So let's go and find a mission that's for this, and I'll show you how that goes. I'll try and find the shortest one possible. So this is a cargo transport light. Let's try this one, and I will do a sim rate increase. I did try one from the north of Scotland, but the airport is bugged, and I am going to try to get the best rating I can. It might not be an A, but I'm certainly not going to accept a demerit before I even take off because of a bugged airport. So we'll remove all the covers, hop in the aircraft, and you can see that we've got a bunch of packages here. I do apologise about the jumpy frame rate occasionally in my videos. That's not my computer's fault, that's the servers on Microsoft's site fault, so I'm just trying to show you around the aircraft. Let's start the aircraft. There we go. It's not put both batteries on, so I'll put the battery on.
Now that you're all set up,
I will put the fuel to all.
With you. You're carrying loose
Turn
goods
on
this flight.
A bunch of
Standard
lights.
shipment for our partner based in Falconera Marittima.
Set the nav to GPS.
You must
Set our altitude.
ASAP.
5,000. It will tell us if that's different later. It knows up.
Flight speed and adjust accordingly. A timely and secure delivery
1,000 as we take off. I might set that to VY as we depart.
Which is uploaded on your map as a reference. Safe flying, Captain.
She just tells us we have to fly safely. That's fine. Request my taxi clearance. Flaps set to 10.
Victor uniform request taxi for north departure.
Cessna India for Zulu India Victor uniform taxi to and hold short of runway 22 using taxiway Golf Echo Alpha. Contact tower on 118.45 when ready.
Okay, that seems like it's an okay taxi clearance.
Taxiing hold short runway 22 via taxiway Golf Echo Alpha Cessna India Victor uniform.
So we'll go ahead and try it. If the taxi clearance says cross runway at any point in the taxi clearance, skip it, or you'll get a demerit for crossing the runway without announcing it, even though you've been cleared to cross the runway as part of the taxi clearance. It doesn't offer you to make a call that you're crossing the runway. So let's go ahead and taxi out. Weather's not looking great, and I typically find on these flights they don't give you enough fuel, so I've just topped up a little bit of fuel there whilst I'm on the ground. Adds a little bit of realism. Yeah, I should have done it whilst I was parked, but I'm on the ground, so I would have been able to get fuel on the ground. So you can map a button to add fuel, and I've done that. Because typically if the weather's bad, I have had my fuel run out before. That's not fun, let me tell you. Don't want to taxi too fast. The last thing I want is a taxi demerit. So we'll taxi at this rate. Hopefully it won't error out. That'll be very annoying if it does. I'll close that comms box for just now. Check our flight plan as we're waiting for the taxi to move around. So we are going to be arriving on an ILS approach. I will check the flight plan matches that in the avionics before I take off. But I could do that whilst I'm taxiing. Flight plan has an en route and has an ILS approach in it. Yes, it does. Okay, perfect. Turn the flight plan off. We will come back and check that our ILS is tuned once we are in the sky. Okay, let's announce or request takeoff clearance.
Pescara Tower Cessna India. Zulu India Victor uniform at runway 22 ready for departure to the north.
Cessna India, Zulu India Victor uniform QNH 1024 departure to the north approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 22.
Acknowledge takeoff clearance.
Cleared for takeoff runway 22 Cessna India Victor uniform.
Let's get lined up. Oh great, it's raining now. This is going to be a very much IFR flight. I thought I turned clouds off. Oh well, maybe I didn't. Possibly because I've got my IFR instrument rating and my night rating. They just ignored that request and went, you know how to fly these, so you're getting bad weather. Anyway, 55 rotate. Up, up and away. We will pitch down to VY. Just about there. We'll set an FLC and we'll turn autopilot on. We will hand this over to the autopilot. We will then take our flaps out.
Cessna India Victor uniform continue.
Acknowledge our handoff.
Pescara Tower Cessna India. Zulu India Victor uniform continue for north departure.
1,500 feet, really? I assume I'm going to get higher than that if it's an IFR flight plan. So, we are flying out to Fort Pez on a straight out climb. Then we will turn around. Head back over the airport and then make our departure northbound. up the coast. It doesn't look like there's going to be any anything to see, because we're going to end up in IFR. It is overflying airport without announcement. See, this is the thing, and this is part of the flight plan, so it's ridiculous, right? You get demerits for the most ridiculous things. You just have to let it go, to be honest. I don't know why we're descending, but we'll just...
Cessna India Victor uniform leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay, so we'll take the hand off. We'll get back to
Pace car on tower
15,000, and we'll bring the power now
Zulu
back
India
to
Victor
about
uniform frequency change.
2400, 2450, something like that. And then what I'll typically do is I'll increase the sim rate to double. So I pressed Alt and R and then Control and plus, that doubles the sim rate. Doesn't typically impact my performance too much because the aircraft stays fairly stable at double sim rate. It just means that this hour-long flight will only take 30 minutes. Really fascinated that it's not asked me to request an IFR following, especially in this weather. Anyway. So if you want, you can watch this video at double speed until we get to the approach, but I will leave the aircraft to fly the flight plan all the way up at double speed, and I'll be responding to air traffic calls along the way as they hand me off between different centres. And hopefully, if we have a really smooth flight, we'll still get a good rating as we land, even though the prescribed flight plan flew me over the airport without announcement. That's not really my fault, right? I don't feel like that's my responsibility for getting that wrong. But this is the second time I've tried to film this now, and the first time I had an airport that had a faulty runway, so there doesn't seem to be one that is going to give me a clean run for the cargo flight. So I will turn off my microphone now and come back to you when we are on the approach. I'll just pop back in to discuss what happened there. The flight plan had some mysterious pointers in it, and the aircraft decided to do something a bit weird as a result. Sometimes that happens. You can get really bad flight plans generated for you, so I've just gone and sent it back directly to the entryway to the ILS. So the pointer before the final approach fix on the ILS. So whilst I'm back talking to you, let's check in on that anyway. So we are expecting runway 22 ILS. So we can click on the information here, go to runway 22. And the ILS frequency is 111.9. So let's set that so that we are prepared. Make it active. And we are prepared, and that's that done. Okay, I will join you again as we get closer to Ladouv. Another quick update. I have seen the weather coming in, so I'm trying to go back out over the water to see if that helps me avoid a bit of the weather. So I'm now using heading to do that, to get me back out closer to this pink line. And you see the blue boxes as well in the flight plan. Once I get over there, I will reset the GPS. So probably around about now. Direct to Ladouv and set the nav back on. And that puts us a bit more on track, although it looks like we're still going to fly into IFR. The wind is quite heavy, so you can see it's crabbing to the right. I think I might go further out, try and avoid the weather actually. And these missions are all about protecting the cargo, right? So you're meant to make corrections to protect any potential impact to your cargo. And heavy weather like that is a huge risk to my cargo. In terms of turbulence and other things. So just get out over the water and see if I can't avoid the worst of that. We'll head relatively northbound now. Because with the crab we'll be heading back towards where we're going anyway. Let's reset the flight plan just in case we need it. You can see our power has dropped, so I'm going to put a bit of power back in to bring us back closer to 2,400 RPM. Just going to check that fuel is still set. It is. Run the pitot heat a little bit just to make sure we don't have any frosting. We've got correct airspeed being indicated, which is fine. And this is why I said we always take more fuel, because if we run into bad weather like this, which we typically do in Flight Sim, then it is always worth having extra fuel. So let's run a direct to Woodhaven now. So it feels like we might be able to get around most of this now. Oh, that's interesting. The weather seems to jump. It's changing. Don't request a flight following.
Brindisi Center, Cessna, India. Zulu India Victor uniform is type Cessna Skyhawk, 8 miles east of Lima, India. Sierra Victor 6, 1,500 feet. Request flight following. Cessna India, Zulu India Victor uniform, Brindisi Center. Squawk 0164.
Okay.
Squawk 0164 Cessna India Victor uniform. Cessna India Victor uniform radar contact 8 miles east of Lima, India. Sierra Victor 6, 1,800 feet. QNH 1024.
Okay. 1024
Victor uniform.
is 3024 on the instruments in here. So let's go ahead and set that. 3024. Bring us back down to 1,500 feet, where we thought we were. We probably don't need the ILS approach. So we could probably cut in a little bit to maybe IFA 9.3. Take a little bit of time off of our fight. Possibly even IFA 5. Let's go directly in for it. My only concern there is it's going to tell me I overflew a bunch of airports I'm not allowed to. So 9.3 is probably the safer one actually. So we don't get told off for overflying a bunch of airports. So you can see that you start off the flight with a plan, but you have to constantly be willing to make changes along the path. I don't know what rating I'll get for this. Obviously it'll depend on the landing and a few other things. But I am doing my best to make changes along the path and corrections as we go to give us the best chance of getting a good rating on this. I'll say this flight was supposed to be 1 hour. We're currently
Victor uniform, contact approach on 125.325. Good day.
At 32 minutes.
125.325 for Cessna India Victor uniform.
And we've still got a huge chunk to go. That's because of the wind and things that's affecting this aircraft. Now, it's struggling to find that approach frequency. I hope it does it and doesn't just hang on me, because it's done that before as well. And that would mean that I can't upload this flight, probably. Maybe I can set the frequency myself. Let's try that. 1, 2, 5. 3, 2, 5. And if I stick that in,
Approach Cessna India. Zulu
we
India
might have
Victor
saved it.
uniform 1,500 feet.
We might have saved it.
Cessna India. Zulu India Victor uniform, approach QNH 1025. Continue as planned.
1025 is 3027. So we'll set that barrow. Once we're past this big hill, what I think we'll probably do is we might try to jump straight to IFA 05 on the flight plan. Because I don't think I'm going to overfly anything now if I do that. So we'll cut the corner a little bit on there. Probably cancel the flight following now.
Approach Cessna India Victor Uniform, cancel flight following.
Cessna India Victor Uniform approach cancellation received. Squawk 7000. Frequency change approved.
That's fine. Now we want to choose our destination, which is not showing up yet. Because there's so many airports near me. Oh! Let's see if it'll do it for me. Maybe I have to come out of this screen.
Falcon Air Tower, Cessna
go.
India. Zulu India Victor Uniform, 8 miles east 1,500 feet to land.
Cessna India, Zulu India Victor Uniform Falcon Air Tower, QNH 1025, fly straight in runway 22.
Okay.
Make straight in runway 22 Cessna India Victor Uniform.
Fine. What did I say the 1119? So we should intercept ILS. We can arm the whoa. We can arm the approach. Let's bring the sim rate back to single sim rate now. So we should intercept that approach at IFA 05.
Cessna India Victor Uniform Wind 0, 46 at 8. Clear to land runway 22.
I am cleared to land. We haven't got
Clear to
the
land
ILS,
runway 22
so I will do
Cessna
this
India
manually.
Victor Uniform.
That's fine. So let's power down. We will set the altitude to 500. We will hit our descent rate to 500 feet per minute. Bit more, maybe 700 feet per minute. Power back, power back, power back. Be 1,000 feet per minute. What's the runway altitude? Oh, elevation is 27 feet, so basically it's nothing. Okay. Put this down to, well, 200 is probably fine. Reduce that rate of descent now. reduce it a bit more. Taking first stage of flaps.
500.
Reduce it even more. Bit of power in. More power in. Second stage of flaps. Autopilot off. Full stage flaps. We've got a bit of wind that we're dealing with. Okay, now we will retard. Still trying to counter for that wind flare. Down. Center line, that feels nice to me.
Cessna India Victor
And we will
Uniform.
roll
Did you hear
to the
my last
end.
transmission?
No, I didn't. Don't know what happened there. I've landed on the correct runway. He's telling me I've not heard something, he said. That's a concern. I'm rolling quite fast down the runway. Because it's a massive taxi down and I want to respect everyone's time and there's no taxi limits on the runway. I've kept the flaps in as a result because they will help me slow down.
Cessna India Victor Uniform, turn next taxiway.
Okay, now we can take all the flaps out.
Cessna India Victor Uniform, contact ground on 119.805.
119.805 Cessna India Victor Uniform. Falcon Air ground Cessna India. Zulu India Victor Uniform request taxi to parking.
Cessna India. Zulu India Victor Uniform taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Cessna India Victor Uniform.
Okay, let's go get our score. Don't taxi too fast. Always have to tell myself that. Now remember there was a crazy demerit at some point when we took off that it threw us over an airport on departure. Part of the plan it gave me, so this is not going to be S tier. But I don't think I missed anything else. I'll take it. A tier, and it would have been S tier if it wasn't for them and their crazy flight plan. If you found that useful, please do like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more specialization example flights. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.